The next preset I want to dissect is obstacles, one of my favorite in the entire preset list. This builds on what we just learned with the Kessel beat, and it takes the concept into a more melodic direction. So I created a few chord changes with some kind of nice ethnic style drums. First of all, listen to that gorgeous reverb. You don't need any third-party reverbs in this synth. It sounds so good with the built-in reverb. So obviously we're seeing a more complex, interesting performer here. And you can see it's actually modulating all sorts of things. The level of the wavetable 1, frequencies of the comb filter, plus also this utility device, which is kind of what I want to talk about. So the fact that there is only one filter module kind of concerns a lot of people, it seems, but in actuality you have this utility insert effect that can very much be used like a second, third, fourth filter if you need. So in this case, this rhythm is all coming from the modulation of the frequency and the level of this utility device, whereas the comb filter is kind of left to manipulate the sound in a different way. It doesn't need to be modulated by that performer in order to create that rhythm. Before we get too far, let's actually look at the voice in this instance. So we're using unison mode with 3 voices. So if I play a single note right here, you'll hear a big, nice spread out sound. If I turn it off, first you're going to conserve a lot of CPU resources. You should be able to hear the difference as well. We could even take it a step further and morph between the spread, unison, and the chord, and actually play some chords with one single note on your keyboard. And as you would change the voices, you'll get more lush chords. Albeit using more CPU resources altogether. So very cool option, very nice way to create the thickness in this instrument. So first let's look at the performer. So we have the option of using 2 performers. You can see they're slightly different. So rather than like the last preset where you have different patterns in the remote octave, this uses a kind of interesting technique to blend and switch between 2 variations in 2 separate performers. And that's using this macro to control the level or the amount that the performer is modulating. So as I would turn up the variation, you'll kind of hear the difference between the 2. Now, one of the coolest things about the performer in Massive X is the ability to kind of create these interesting different time note divisions, so that you get this cool ramping effect by simply doing that. It's really unique being able to kind of control in here. As you can see, as you click through, it changes the grid divisions, and you can easily create more complex rhythms that way. Another cool thing you can do is, say if I wanted to actually create a second option here in the remote octave and create a variation of it, we can do that simply by coming in here, and maybe I want to slightly tweak some of these parameters in this area. If we select just a few of them, now we have these options to kind of stretch a little bit more. In different ways together. So a cool way to kind of create some interesting polyrhythms within your single performer. Very cool option. Next, I'm going to also look at the routing in this case, because again, we were talking about the fact that this is using utility. Let's kind of turn off everything except the noise to start. And I really just wanted to kind of pinpoint that these noise tables offer so much rather than just kind of goofy sounds. It can create so much interesting tonal variety. And in fact, this drain noise table almost sounds like a rhythmic element when combined with everything else. It's kind of brilliant. Just gorgeous.